Hi folks, Merry Christmas. Here's my Christmas shirt. Alright, so today is Christmas Eve, the time I'm recording this video, and I don't know, what do Buddhists celebrate Christmas? Was Jesus a Buddhist? These are two questions I'll answer today, and we'll see where we get with that. Do Buddhists celebrate Christmas? I lived in Japan for 11 years, which meant I spent 11 Christmases in Japan. I was only able to get back home during the summers usually. I don't think I ever went back home for Christmas. Anyway, so yeah, I guess I'd spent 11 Christmas days in Japan. And Christmas Day is not a national holiday over there. It's, you work just like any other day. But the Japanese really get into Christmas. There's decorations all over Tokyo, Christmas trees, Christmas lights, Santa Clauses, all sorts of stuff like that. And to Japanese people, Christmas is kind of a party holiday. It's kind of the reverse. New Year's Day in Japan is very somber and kind of almost religious. I wouldn't say exactly religious. Maybe we'll get into that next week for New Year's. But it's the one where families get together and they have quiet times and they have little meals and they remember things and blah, blah, blah. Sort of what we do in Christmas in the West. Whereas Christmas in Japan is more like what we do for New Year's, which is a big party thing, mostly celebrated by young people. And they just get together and do their party things, like young people do, and get drunk, and they eat Kentucky Fried Chicken. Kentucky Fried Chicken in Japan hit on a great advertising campaign sometime I guess in the 70s of associating Kentucky Fried Chicken with Christmas, and now every Christmas Day the lines outside of Kentucky Fried Chickens in Japan are tremendously long because everybody's got to get their Kentucky Fried Chicken for Christmas. I don't know why. Was Jesus a Buddhist? This is another one of those questions that comes up sometimes around the holidays. A couple of years ago, the BBC ran a program, I think it was called Was Jesus a Buddhist? And it was one of those things that was on my list of I'll watch that one of these days, and I still haven't watched it. And the reason I haven't watched it is because it's based on a story that I've heard a lot, and it was one of the first things I kind of came across. I think Tim mentioned it when he was just, I don't know when he mentioned it, but he mentioned it in some form or another. And the story goes that there was this guy named Nicholas Notovich, who was a Russian, I'm not sure exactly what he was by profession, but somehow he ended up in India, in Kashmir, I believe. And this is in the 19th century, late 19th century. And he claims that he was shown a bunch of scrolls or something in the Pali language from a lama there that talked about a guy named Isa who had traveled to Kashmir and studied Buddhist teachings and then returned to his home country. And of course this supposedly covers the lost years of Jesus. And he published a book, and it made a big splash in the 19th century. But the 20th century happened, and now it's the 21st century, and still so far nobody has seen those manuscripts that he said he saw other than him. So nobody's ever been able to find him, and he gives some clues in his books as to where they are, and supposedly. Also, apparently somebody in the early 20th century talked to the Lama that Notovich claimed to have talked to, and the guy said, the Lama said Notovich was never there. So the claims of the Isa traveling to Kashmir are pretty dubious. As are subsequent claims that he survived the crucifixion. This is another version, and then went back to Kashmir and lived to age 102 and died there. Supposedly there's an inscription somewhere of some footprints that have scars in them that are supposedly the scars of the crucifixion. It all gets very wild and woolly. Another piece of evidence that Jesus was a Buddhist is the gifts of the Magi, which is that Gospel of Luke? I'm not sure. It's in one of the Gospels, or is Matthew? I don't know. You biblical scholars, let me know. But the gift of the Magi, everybody knows that story. It's depicted in Christmas all the time, where the three wise men from the east give gifts to the baby Jesus. And some people noticed that this would be the way somebody who wasn't familiar with Vajrayana Buddhism might describe the process by which a reincarnated lama is discovered, like the Dalai Lama and other lamas. They find a baby who they think might be, I don't know how they choose the baby, but they find these babies that they think might be the reincarnations of a deceased lama, and they bring them precious objects that belong to the lama that they are looking for the reincarnation of. I hope that's grammatically not too difficult. And they present it to the baby, and how the baby reacts to those items determines whether they decide that the baby is the reincarnation of the lama. So the gifts of the Magi, if such an event even happened, and the people who witnessed it didn't understand the reason for it, they might think it's, they're bringing gifts to the new king of the world. It might look very much like that. So those are the two pieces of evidence that people often put forward that Jesus was a Buddhist. And then the third is the parallels in the New Testament teachings that are attributed to Christ and Buddhist teachings, and there's lists of them, and I'll put an article from the Zen site, which is a website about Zen, which has a list of all these, and I'll put that in the description of the YouTube video, and you can look at it if you want. I looked at it. I've looked at this, again, here and there over the last few years that I've been studying Buddhism and been studying Christianity, because I'm kind of interested in Christianity too. I find the whole thing a little bit dubious. It is true that Buddhist missionaries were active in Judea in the time of Christ. That's pretty well established. And that the place was kind of a hub of international mixing, as part of the Roman Empire. So it is possible that a Jewish priest of some kind might have come across some Buddhists and had some conversations with them and been influenced by them. But there's nothing specific enough that I've ever seen pointed out as supposed parallels of Jesus is saying and Buddhists saying that is convincing. I mean, there's a lot of things that are similar, but most of those things could be attributed to just the fact that they were both people who were thinking deeply about the nature of man and mankind, and God and religion and all this other stuff. So yeah, I'm not convinced that Jesus was a Buddhist. I think Jesus was Jesus. My friend Rob doesn't think Jesus existed at all, so, there you go. There's all those sorts of opinions you can look at. At any rate, I don't know if that was interesting or informative for you. I should have done a more definitive video, but I'm getting ready for Christmas celebrations, which we're doing very small this year, but we're doing them, and got to go do that, and Ziggy's barking about it. So I will see you later. If you want to donate to my Christmas cheer, you can send a donation to the URL that I'm showing you on the screen will take you to places where my Patreon and PayPal links are, and if you're on YouTube, the Patreon and PayPal links are directly below the video. That is the only way I'm making my living this year. I really appreciate all your donations. If you're having financial trouble, don't donate to me, because I'm not desperate or anything, but the reason I'm not desperate is because people keep contributing. So thank you very much for that. Have a good time all the time. See you later. Merry Christmas. Bye.